We're now joining up with Craig Naivar, safeties coach, special teams coordinator. Didn't want to give you too much credit there, but I was trying to help your cause a little early.
Hey, I'll take what I can get.
Hey, but you got a really good group coming in here. We talked about you landing 3 of the top 4 safeties in the class of 2018. You look at Foster, Overshone, Stearns. What do you do with that trio?
Turn them loose and let them go. Yeah. Really excited about this crew. And really excited for the fact of 2 things that are intangibles people don't see. You see the video, you see the production, but they're extremely intelligent football players. They're very smart football players. We do a lot of stuff with combination coverages and disguises in the secondary, so they'll be able to step in pretty quickly and pick things up and execute. And the other intangible, which is going to happen for the majority of this class, is we've signed a tremendous bunch of families that these young men came from, and that's why they've been so successful, is everything they've gotten growing up from being this tall to where they are right now.
Coach, explain to us the difference in what you're looking for when it comes to the boundary safety and the field safety.
The boundary safety is going to be around the box a little bit more, but we do so much with coverages, with rotations and things like that. There's really, at the end of the day, not a ton different. The field safety's going to be asked to cover a little bit more ground. The boundary safety is going to be involved in the blitz game a little bit more, and in the box a little bit more.
Coach, let's talk about a player from this past season, Deshaun Elliott. You saw him firsthand as a safeties coach. He was a good player a year ago, 2 years ago before you got here. He was a phenomenal, a great player, one of the best in college football. What do you truly view as your job? Like, you came in here and from one day turned a good player into an elite collegiate football player. How?
I wouldn't say that I did it. I would say that this culture did. The way we go about doing things, the accountability, the toughness, the physicality of how we do things, and that showed up in his game. I think he was, by measure of watching where he's progressed, a lot more accountable in making plays, and he's doing that by knowing what to do and making sure he's in the right position to do that. And he was a very physical player this year, and that just comes from the culture.
Yeah, I really like Caden, what he brings. I think when I see him on film, I see his ball skills are at an elite level, a kid that can tackle in the open space. Talk about how he fits into the equation at the safety position.
He fits in the equation as much of these guys do, as he can fit into any 5 or 6 of the safety positions we play right now. If you watch us on tape, we're playing with 6 DBs. And at times there's 7 out there. And if you give us a heavier personnel package, it may reduce that number, but in the Big 12, that usually doesn't happen. You're playing in space and running around. So he's very versatile. And again, another guy that's extremely smart. His football awareness is tremendous. That's what helped Deshaun Elliott make a lot of plays, is he knew where that ball was going before it went there.
Coach, it's hard to recruit in this day and age. You got a lot of big-time egos, really, because of us, the media. How do you get 3 top safeties to commit when they know only 2 safeties, by theory, can be on the field? Like, how do you get 3 top safeties to commit in this day and age?
I think the message that if you want to compete at the highest level, if you want to come with an opportunity to win the Thorpe Award, if you want to come to what we want to talk to about those 3 magic letters to get to that point, this is the place to do it. You're not going to live in a better city. You're going to get tremendous education. You're going to get tested every Saturday through the air by the conference we play in, and the opportunities with the numbers we currently have on our roster and the opportunities there, it was an easy sell.
Coach, I want to get into special teams a little bit. Some of these positions seem a little easier than others to scout. Some translate a little easier. And then you got the specialists. How do you go about recruiting a kicker, and what do you look for that gives you indications what will translate and what will work from high school to college?
I think kicking at this level is kicking under the atmosphere, kicking under the stress, kicking under this kick is the difference between a win and a loss in front of 100,000 people. Cameron Dicker has kicked under those situations. He's been on the big stage. He's been in a state championship situation. He's done all that. So those intangibles make a difference, not just, hey, can I kick a 50-something yarder? Great. A lot of young men can do that, actually. But can you do that in pressure situations? And I think that's what's a big part of it.
LG, while you're there, Coach, one of the most mind-boggling things for me is you had half your starters on special teams. How'd you get them to buy in? I saw Malik running down there, Nashawn running down there, Deshaun running down there on punt coverage. How do you get those players to buy in?
Again, I'm going to keep using the word the culture. That's the way things are done around here. If you're going to play on offense or defense, if you're going to be an offensive skill player and touch the ball, you're going to start on a special team. That's been mandated since day one. And then the simple fact, those guys know that if I want to do this on Sundays, I've got to show that value now when a GM or someone looks at me and says, all right, will that guy do that? Because if a guy's not playing on special teams, you kind of go, why is he not?
Absolutely.
What is Michael Dixon told you about his cousin? Ryan Bucheski here.
Very similar. Very similar.
That's scary.
So we're excited. And obviously, those are a tremendous shoe to fill.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term.
The boot.
But,
Coach, you've been waiting on that one.
I just came up with that one real quick.
Yeah, that was good.
Just popped out of the coffee cup right there. But we're excited about what he can do. The gentleman in Australia at Pro Kick that train these guys do a tremendous job getting these guys ready. Obviously, there's an adjustment time coming from kicking on a field, and then there's 11 guys that have pads on that are really angry to try to come after you. But we're excited about the possibilities he has.
Coach, how do you put an emphasis on guys that could come in and contribute, but also guys that could potentially provide some depth as a special teams player? How does that work? What's the conversation like in the room? How do you determine, hey, this guy is going to play on special teams versus another?
Honestly, those guys pretty much determine that. Every guy we bring in, we expect to go from the day they get here. And then how those guys progress, not only on the field, how they progress with Coach McKnight and his crew in the weight room, how they progress academically, what's the total package on where are these guys headed and making the right decision for the program and that young man.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate the time. Congratulations on your part in this class. Number 2 coming in to this early signing period on Longhorn Network.